That ugly money. That ugly money. Yeah. Say it's that ugly money.
This is the Ugly Money Podcast. It's about the process of success. Everything between your first dollar, your first million. That's ugly money.
What up? Welcome to another episode of the Ugly Money Podcast. I am your host, Ugly Money Nietzsche. This episode brought to you by Engorge Rejuvenation Tea, promoting erections, improving stamina, size, and libido. Go to engorge.com. That's EN-GORG.com. All natural male supplement. Yeah, you definitely want to get you some. I got some special guests in the building, and they don't need no introductions, but I'm going to give it to them anyway. To my right, songwriter, hit maker, R&B savant. Ladies and gentlemen, James Worthy is here!
What it do? That was hard.
You know what I'm saying?
That's hard.
And until the adjacent of me, legend, staple, pillar in hip-hop. And he got some good weed, too. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Gipp is here!
Hey, man. Oh,
What's up, my gentlemen? I appreciate y'all for making some time for us.
For sure.
I appreciate y'all making some time for us. Gipp, the last time we saw each other, you had just launched your Gipp Goodies line.
Yep.
And you had the pre-rolls and everything. And since then, I have seen you have launched a store and some more things. Tell me about what's going on.
We launched. We got about 40 products right now. Since we last talked, we got more stores. We're in about 9 states, and we have a whole line of non-alcoholic spirits. From tequila, bourbon, rum, everything you can get out of the liquor store. And what we did, the special thing we did, we took the alcohol out and just infused it with cannabis. So for all of those that's looking to get off alcohol and would like to drink your blunt and smoke your blunt, Gipp got your. I got you.
Drink your blunt and smoke your blunt.
Yeah. We're going to put exotic off in your cup. Now, you ain't never got to worry about being off deck. You always on the same thing.
I can definitely, I'm pretty sure there's some high vibrations there.
Yes, it is.
Some high energy. Now, James, I've done my research, and I like to do my research, but for the people that have been sleeping under a rock, let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
Who was James Worthy before James Worthy became James Worthy?
Man, I was just a creative from Queens, New York. Always been around music. I don't really come from a musical family, but music was always around me growing up. And man, I've had the great experience of just working with and being around legendary artists and great musicians and great songwriters and creatives at an early age. I got into my industry when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
But before then, I've had mentors, along the way. So I've been mentored by Houdini and Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown and PM Dawn, artists like that. And
pretty nice little name drop.
Just a little bit.
Whitney Houston. I love when my famous partners come in and they just say things lightly. Like we had I had Bobby Vila here last night, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to go to the movies with Beyonce," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not regular people things. That's not regular." So you had the opportunity to work with both Whitney and Bobby.
Yes.
Please give us some insight on that experience.
Just to start off, man, they both were incredible talents. Bobby still is, he's like Uncle B. And they come from two different worlds, but they both had a common thing, was to be entertainers and entertain you at the highest level. And I've learned those things from them. So me and B being best friends with Bobby Jr., which was Bobby Brown's son, rest in peace. That's how I got introduced to the Brown family and the Houston family. And, we were just more so like, a tight-knit group, you know what I mean? So everybody working with each other and okay, I did this, you did that, and, how could we come together and make it better? At the time, growing up with Lil Bobby, we were figuring out each other's direction. So, you know, I was helping him create his sound and his direction and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
sir.
we really helped each other, and that's how the whole dynamic came together. So with Whitney, it was kind of the same thing. Like, you know, like, hey boy, come to the studio with me.
Yeah.
Come see how a record's made.
Come on.
You know, so that's how it began.
What was Whitney Houston's aura? What was she like in person?
She was like your auntie or like your mom. You know, like, you know, she gonna keep you on the narrow, straight path. Like, you know, if you messing up, hey boy, you messing up. Or, you know, she gonna teach you the game, but she gonna want you to bump your head a little bit just so you can learn. You know what I mean? So it ain't really nothing handed. It's just like, you know, she gonna tell you what it is and show you how to do it.
No, that's love. That's love. So she was the OG before OGs became OGs.
Nah, she definitely was an OG. Don't get it twisted. Like, she had some gangster in her. Like, for sure.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that house.
Oh man, like, but she was just a ball of fun.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, like, she was just cool. You know.
Now, in your list of collaborations, you have a lot of you know, legendary names, and some people that are of old, and some people that are new, and some people that are of both.
Yeah.
So there's a guy. His name's Young Berg.
Oh yeah.
And he's changed his name since to Hitmaker.
Hitmaker.
How was Young Berg? How was Hitmaker as Young Berg?
I remember I got.
He seems like an eccentric fellow.
I mean, from my experiences with him, always been a cool dude, flashy dude, but a cool dude. I mean, and super talented. Like, I mean, dude wrote all his records, you know, and wrote for a lot of other people too. So that's how I got introduced to him. But how we initially even crossed paths was actually through Twitter.
Oh, wow.
So this is the early days of Twitter. So I remember I was just at a point to where, like, Twitter was popping, and this is, you know, before Instagram, of course. So this is when the DM and the direct message was just getting popping like that, right? So I'm like, look, I'm gonna message all the people I want to work with. And at the time, he had I think Sexy Can I going crazy.
Yes, sir.
He had The Business going crazy. So, you know, I was a fan of his music, so I just shoot him a message on Twitter. And at the time, he was doing his mixtape series called Twitter Music. And he ended up using one of my tracks for his mixtape, and you know, that's how I started.
Wow.
That's dope. That's dope. You know, so you don't have any crazy chain stories about Berg.
Nah, man, because you know, at that point, it was so crazy with that damn transformer chain. I mean, everybody had the chain.
You know, the beautiful thing about Berg's success now, resurgence, is the reinvention, the rebrand. And sometimes, you know, you may fall and you know, and get your knees dirty, but you can always stand back up, brush the dirt off, and keep moving. Like, he's huge now.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people, I think he had probably one of the best rebrands ever.
He got Soulja Boy beat for biggest comebacks.
I
don't want to say that too loud.
I got him and Joe Budden on the best rebrand.
No, you know what's crazy? Believe it or not, Joe Budden was one of my favorite rappers when he was rapping, right?
Yeah.
And given he only had a limited supply of music, but I always was a fan of his lyrical ability. And he just seemed like he just couldn't get his just due. And I don't know if it was some of those wounds were self-inflicted or not, but you know, I think it's dope that he's found a lane for himself and his personality to flourish.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the way he flipped that whole thing was crazy.
Yeah.
He found a lane, goddamn.
All the shit he was talking, he monetized it. You know,
he did.
It might not work in rap, but it works great in podcasting. Because I was just looking at the podcast charts, and Joe Budden is firmly at number one. So he's definitely doing something right.
He's doing something right.
Huh?
Firmly.
Yes, firmly at number one. He is consistently the number one podcast in the world.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I never thought
Joe
of
Budden.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, Mr.
That's
Pump.
And I thought it would have been like Joe Rogan or somebody.
Yeah,
like,
him and Joe go back and forth.
Yeah,
Him
I've been
and Joe
seeing
go
that.
back
yeah.
and forth, but the
yeah.
Joes are at the top of their game, or at least on the on the Spotify and the iTunes podcast charts. And
Yeah, I
I'm
know
like,
he killing on Spotify.
and I'm just sitting there like, man, life after rap, man.
Yeah, that's
He
for real.
will not rap he won't rap. He refuses to rap.
Yeah, he retired.
He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I feel like one day he gonna pop up with a verse though somewhere.
I think if it makes sense for him,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? If Drake wants to do a record with him or
Yeah.
something.
They got to be the right person.
Yeah, Hove or something, hey, want to go ahead and remake this Pump It Up. Can you do the hook right quick? And he might jump in there.
Yeah, he might.
He might.
You know what I'm saying? But
might.
speaking of Jay-Z, Mr. Gipp, you've been busy, my brother.
What's that?
You've been busy, and I love it, man. I love the energy that you. I've been seeing you on different platforms and speaking the gospel and speaking the game and things of that nature. Let's start back because last time we talked about Goody Mob. This time I wanna go into the Dungeon family.
Yeah.
And why were they so significant?
Why were they so significant?
Yes, sir.
Because at the end of the day, we really set the platform for Southern hip hop. Like, we understood the basics of what hip hop was about. And being that we were taught by Organized Noise, it was about doing it the right way.
Yes, sir.
So it's always been about having fresh ideas and understanding who you are and what you're saying. So that's the reason why I feel like the Dungeon family has been so significant. And my argument is just this: everybody got their section of the country,
Come on.
and this section of the country is nobody bigger than us.
Come on.
And we just not gonna accept. I don't care what
Real
magazine it come out in. I don't care what blog site it come out of. We don't accept your list. So that's just my basic, foundation of why I would speak right now, because this is the 50th year of hip hop, and this is about music. And the reason why I only spoke was to just bring the attention of the audience back to Gipp and Worthy, so they can understand what music looks like and what music sound like.
No, that's hard. We don't respect your list.
That's it.
That's a bar right there.
Yeah. It's just
because we have our own kings.
That's right.
We have our own goats. We have our own sounds. We have our own vibes. We have our own institutions down here.
Yeah.
And so if you're not from downhill, you can't be talking about what's going down.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? And that's all. And that's always been Dungeon family thing. You know what I mean? Since we stepped out that stage in New York in '95 at the Source, bro, it's been us like, oh no, we got to let these folk know what's happening. And it's still today. My main thing is just to say, if it's any crew that you know about that's from the South that got a Diamond album, where they hand it.
Come on.
And the people that you talking about, if they ain't got no Diamond album, I don't understand how we under nobody.
South got something to say.
That's it.
And we've been saying it for a while now. Right?
Yeah.
Why do you consider CeeLo your first experiment?
Experiment, probably he's like not my first experiment. He's the first artist that I saw do what he does, and I went back to the Dungeon and told him about him.
Wow.
So that was just me showing up at my homeboy house on the west side, and Cujo battling this kid, and this kid stepping back, and instead of rapping, he started singing. I never saw that before. So that's the reason why I ran back to the Dungeon. I was like, yo, Ray, like, it's this kid on the west side. They call him Chicken Head. You know what I mean? Like, he sing. And that's when CeeLo started coming over to the Dungeon.
And a star is born.
Yeah.
And history is made. Future came out the Dungeon.
Future came out of the Dungeon, yeah. Future was right there with us the whole time. Very quiet and very intuitive of what was going on. And now that I look back, I'm like, he was a straight A student. He learned what he had to learn to become who he was. You know what I mean? And, you know, it takes a lot to stay as, I think the thing that Future learned from Goody Mob and Outkast success is that you can have success at a certain level and lose focus. And I think that him being able to identify that in us and Outkast, I think it put him on the path to being as great as he is right now. Because he hadn't taken a break from what was the first thing I heard, and he's still doing it.
Oh, Meathead on it.
You know what I mean? Like,
then they used to call him Meathead.
Yeah. Like, that was his name. That was his street name. Meathead. So, you know.
Meathead and chicken. What was CeeLo's? Chicken head.
Chicken head.
And it was like Shawty went to St. Louis. And around this time, like I'm messing with Nelly, so I'm hearing that he ain't been through St. Louis. So when he went to St. Louis, he came back and he was like, my name Future. And it's been a rap ever since.
So he went to St. Louis, came back Future. He went left Meathead and came back Future.
Came back Future. Yep. And it's been that ever since.
It's been up since then.
That's what I would say to anybody, man. You know, the Dungeon Family still flourishing live and in full effect, man. So, you know, that's the reason why you have a Gipp and a Worthy album right now, because it's time for a new expression.
So you're an artist, an actor, an activist, whatever you do, come to the Ugly Money Podcast and tell your story. You can be a special invited guest by texting the number right here. Let's lock in your interview. Let's tell the world what you got going on. Over the past 90 days, we've gotten 30 million views on YouTube, 50 million views on social media sites. It's time for the world to know about you. So make sure you text this number so you can come on the Ugly Money Podcast. And you get to meet China too. It's that Ugly Money. Is it true that you were really the first rapper to wear colored stones?
Yeah. Colored stones and platinum in my mouth.
Trendsetter.
I always have been. It's just I never wanted anything that the next man had on. That's why I wore silver in high school. People thought it was silver. From the 9th to 10th grade, it was silver. Then it changed to white gold. You know? Then once I got to Harlem, New York, I walked across the street in the 145th Mark, and I said, hey, man, I want a platinum grill. He said, where you from? I said, Atlanta. He said, I have it for you in a couple hours. Wow. And I came back and we did Cell Therapy, the first video. So, well, okay, hold on. Like we gotta revive
That's some history for you.
Yeah, we gotta revive that. He just dropped one. So I mean, so many people with these quote unquote platinum grills, especially in Texas and all these things. You were the first.
I was the first person that I saw in the rap business with a platinum grill. And I know this because from where I got it from. If you used to watch an old James Bond movie, it was a character in the movie called Jaws that had platinum in his mouth. That's where I got it from. When I seen it as a kid, I was like, I'm going to do that one day. And that was the first thing I did when I got some money.
You ain't care about nothing else.
Paul Wall owe you a check, man. Paul Wall, Johnny Dang. They owe you a check, but
well, he ain't worried about nothing else. Yeah. No car, no nothing. I want that grill.
Put that platinum in my mouth.
I want that grill.
I want to be Jaws.
That's all I thought about, man. I was like, man, I want that. And you know, like it really made a striking. It made me striking because I remember the first time we met Cash Money. I remember Baby walking on the bus and he said, "Gipp, Walter, what that is in your mouth?" I was like, that's platinum. And next time I seen Baby them, they had platinum.
Trendsetter.
Man, stop playing with Gipp.
Paul Wall, you're welcome. Courtesy of Atlanta. Johnny Dang, you're welcome. Yeah. Courtesy of Atlanta. Mike Jones and everybody that's ever had that platinum in their mouth, you're welcome. Courtesy of the family.
Hey. Yes, sir.
Now, for the kids that don't know, because you know what this is, 2023. Who was Tupac to you in your generation and to this culture, and why was he such a big deal? I know, but the kids might.
Tupac was he was the original blueprint of what a superstar was. You got to remember, rap was all about being in the hood and being this and being that, representing the urban lifestyle. Tupac was the first rapper that took the urban lifestyle and put it up in lights, because him having a background of acting was never seen before, and him being comfortable in front of a camera had never been seen before. So that's the reason why Pac had so many famous girlfriends, because he was the first rapper that could walk in the room and make everybody look at him. And that's the difference. People, people say that they this and they that, but you got to remember, when you are that, you don't have to speak on it. You don't have to speak on it, man. And that dude was incredible, because even with the amount of success that he was having, he still was only about the fight of the black woman and black man, about us learning who we are and becoming stronger in that. And I think that's the reason why I tell people all the time, you could be the greatest street talker and rapper of all time, but nothing beats the heart. And to have records like Dear Mama, the records that it's so Brenda Got a Baby, it's just like the place that he wrote from was so honest that people don't understand. That's what made hip hop real to the rest of the world. When you can express yourself like that, it becomes like water. Everybody can see it. Everybody can drink it. And with street rap, in certain places of the world, they don't understand that. That's American lingo. That's American culture. But Tupac was able to go past those ceilings way before any of us understood where he was going.
Now, it seems like you guys had a cool relationship. It was said that you were with him when that infamous video of him hanging out the window with his middle fingers up.
Yes. It was with us, man. Pac used to stay in Atlanta. He stayed on the east side.
What?
Over there by Club Atrium.
Wow.
Pac,
Shouts out to the Ugly Money Music Summit, April 7th through the 9th at the Atrium. We're going to plug that in there. Hey, Mr. Bradley, we get it in.
Look.
We get it done. We get it done.
Look, that's a segment right there. Boy, that's a hell of a segment, boy.
Pop shit over there by the Ugly Money Music Summit.
that was facts, bro. That's where his brother used to stay over there. He used to stay over there, man. A lot of people used to kind of like know that Pac was over there, and Pac used to, him and his brother used to just walk to the store. He used to walk to the store. He'd be walking up the street, walking up Glenwood, walking up all over there, like anywhere in that neighborhood. He did it. He never acted like a star. That was what was amazing about him. He never acted like he was bigger than nobody. If he seen a group of folk over there, he would go over there and join them.
Wow.
So that was the kind of person he was. He never walked with the arrogance of, I'm the shit. He ain't walk with that, you know what I mean? So that's what made him, to me, the greatest, because it was always about teaching people how to be better from coming from nothing.
So Pac lived on the east side, shooting birds out the window.
Yeah, you know what it was? Because MC Breed stayed here.
Okay.
MC Breed was the nucleus to all that at that time. MC Breed was the big rapper on Ichiban Records.
Yeah.
And Ichiban was a factor during that time. So DOC was here. Pac was always here. And it made for, he always took Atlanta as this where I'm going to come live. But I know I got to go do my LA thing and do my New York thing. But it was a reason why he set his mama right in Decatur in Stone Mountain.
He had a relationship with Left Eye as well.
A real good relationship.
Let's expound on that.
Real good.
Yeah, they were just always. I mean, she's the only one besides us and Goody Mob that was in the room when he first played Hit 'Em Up. It was Goody Mob and it was Left Eye, and he wanted her opinion and he wanted my opinion.
Okay, hold on. Let's see, he did it again. He just had a legendary moment. He just skipped past it like it was
Trying to tell you.
Okay, hold on. Just let's pause for a cause right quick. You and Left Eye were in the room when Pac first played "Hit 'Em Up."
Yep, when it was freshly recorded. What studio? In Death Row Studio in L.A.
So he came from L.A. to Atlanta, and
no, he recorded. We was in L.A. We was on tour.
oh, gotcha.
We was on tour. We was in L.A. and Pac was recording at Death Row Studios. So Pac called up like, man, come to the studio, Gippy. So it's a video of us walking in the studio with him. He in the booth with a glass of Hennessy and cigarettes, and he rapping. And so then when he come out, he was like, man, I just had to finish this right quick, but Gippy, I gotta let you hear something. And I was like, what is it? And he hit the button, and it would hit him up.
What is your reaction when you first hear that?
Man, you gotta look, bro. My mouth was on the floor because I had never heard anybody go at people like this. But just think about it. For 20 years, people thought Pac was lying. He wasn't lying. They came around now. Yeah. He put it in the song. Because he was at war. So at the end of the day, I couldn't have put that in the song. You folk didn't come around here. So at the end of the day, that's what made Hit 'Em Up so real and so potent at that time. You know what I mean? Because it was kind of like the only people who knew it was real were the inside. So just think about it now. Now you seeing Death Row artists come out and say, yeah, she was around now.
She was around now.
Yeah, she came around. She came and check old Pac out.
Was over there creeping.
And you got to look at it, man, like, come on, man. Look at the man resume, man. It wasn't nothing but top. Man, you had Madonna going at you in them years. Them were the 90s. Like, you got to understand. Like, he's sitting at the table with Madonna. So you got to understand that he has something that a lot of artists just don't have. And that's the reason why, if I would say anybody is the number one rapper ever, is Tupac, because he was a triple threat. He set the tone as far as making music faster than anybody else. He set the tone as far as being a movie star. And he set the tone of just having some of the greatest songs ever written by a rap artist.
Shoe Crazy wine. I'm here with the Broken Heel. It's the pineapple flavored vodka, handcrafted, ultra premium, triple distilled, and black owned. Make sure you follow them at Shoe Crazy Wine on Instagram and get yours today. When I drink, I like to drink black owned. Shoe Crazy. Can you recount the time that Pac and Suge confronted Biggie and Diddy with 100 Bloods?
It was Bloods and Crips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was Bloods and Crips. They had everybody with them that night. And I think it was an award. We were giving
Source Awards?
No, this was Soul Train.
Okay.
So I think we was giving an award to Jagged Edge. And I think we went to the commercial, and then boom, the door bust open in the auditorium, and it's Pac with Suge and about 100 of everything. So
members.
yeah, and it was like I think Biggie them, when we gave the award, Biggie them performed, and then when we went to commercial, that's when he came in the auditorium. So Biggie them was still backstage. They had just came off stage. So when we walked backstage, and once we walked backstage, we were like, what's up, Goody Mob? We turned around and it's Pac. So if you see the picture, you see them walking up on it, and you see Pac looking down like that. He looking at Big there. He like, there they go, right there. In the picture, if you see the picture, it's a famous picture of us standing there. And I'm like, oh, Lord. I'm looking like it. I'm like
you know it's about to go down.
I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm just seeing Bloods everywhere, Big Suge, he all out this. I'm like, man, and they was as stunned as we was, cause like Big was in a tuxedo. You know, he in slippery shoe, everything. He kind of looking like, for real, folks. How you doing it? Then you gonna do it like this at the Soul Train Award, vote.
Yeah.
And it was funny because then he started going at him, and then all of a sudden you see Don Canese come out of nowhere. And when Don Canese came out, he called Suge, and he talked to Suge, and that shit stopped right there. And he gave them time enough to get out the building, and they turned around and went the other way.
That's
but
cool.
it could have been, if it wasn't for the OG, man. OG came out and said, not on my plate, not on my Soul Train. Don Canese, you gonna do it like this? Everybody in trouble. So it was like, I think everybody involved kind of was like, hey, OG, hey, this ain't the spot. And you know, I just wish they could have spoke about it, cause you gotta understand, like Goody Mob, we was in the streets in them times. We were doing our second album out in LA, so we knew how much tension was in the street. You know what I mean? And you know, man, just if they just had the time to speak, man. But you know, it's always the hecklers that come around.
Everybody around.
You know what I mean? It's always the hecklers and everybody come around and just talk all out of the pocket and have both individuals really scared, because it's kind of like everybody know me. Whoever coming at me, I don't even know them. You know what I mean? So that's the other part that people don't even factor in during that time, that it became so much tension that it was like you ain't trust nobody that wasn't with you. You know what I mean? So I just really felt like they could have really talked it out. But people not being honest that the media helped spew that shit. The media, the vibes, everything, you help spew it. You know what I mean? You help it sold magazines to put East and West versus each other on. You know, it was probably the most magazines they ever sold. So they kept putting fire on the water, which made it where this man here gets himself killed, and this man here, I see this man, I go to the party, I see this man, he's sitting in the corner, his leg messed up, he got a cane, he can't really, Big ain't really walking good, because his leg really fractured, and he was heavy, so like to walk it hurt. So it was like, we seen him, and I was just kind of like, it don't feel right in him. And I remember it was just all four of us, the Goody Mob. We drove over there. We had a little rental. We like, man, we going over here. Everybody tripping like, man, where y'all bodyguards at, man? We ain't got no goddamn bodyguards, man.
I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm from the A.
Yeah, bro. We walking through, we 4 deep. We walking through there like whatever. But it was just the looks I was getting. I was just like, you know, I got folk in the game world. So it's kind of like when I'm seeing that and I'm seeing the look on FOI, and I'm just like, bro, they ain't in the right play, pimp. And I remember tapping Cujo, and I was like, hey, man, let's go. And Shawty was like, we just got here.
Yeah. He want to hang out. Yeah. He want to hang out. Cujo was trying to hang out.
They was like, Shawty like, we just got here. Get what we leave for.
Talking about.
I was like, man, like, bro, like, let's get out of here. So we can get outside. Big already in the truck, him and C's in the truck. C's rolled the window down and say, yo, give it. Who did that Black Ice Beast? I said, Rico Cousin, DJ. Big, like me and Big like that beat. Where y'all going? I said, we going to the Outkast Platinum Party up on Sunset. Shanti Dawes throwing it. He said, yeah, we coming up there too. Funk Master Flex, he DJing. So already it's an Arista thing. So we go in the parking lot, we get in the car, and we shot up the Sunset. Soon as we get in the party, it's like halfway through the song, yo, Big just got shot. And we kind of like, huh? Big just got shot? We just saw Big. Wow. So we go back to the hotel, and when we get to the hotel, Busta Rhymes and Spliff, everybody in the, kind of like in the foyer of the hotel, and they like, man, they just shot Big, bro. So then like Busta, T-Mo, and they went to the hospital, and yeah, Mo came back and was like, man, he gone, man.
Long live Big, man. It was some legendary times. A lot of lot of beautiful times, a lot of tragic times. Let's go back to the Source Awards. Now, Outkast is getting an award at the Source Awards. People started to boo them.
Yeah.
Why?
Because everything was new to him. Everybody got to understand that was the first time that all of us had seen each other in the flesh. That was the first time we seen all of Death Row. That was the first time we seen a lot of rappers that we had never seen before in the flesh. You know what I mean? So I just think that, first of all, y'all got to look that the tone was set for something to go on when Death Row started it with what they started it with. They set the tone. You know what I mean? So,
and that was when Suge Knight said what he said.
But not even that. I'm saying the beginning of the show, it was the most magnificent rap beginning of a show I ever seen. Like them cages, man, them Death Row coming out of there, then Rage coming out of there. Man, that was so exciting then, bro. It was like, Jesus, what is this? And then you see Quick come out with the red rag, and he talking right to MC8, and MC8 sitting right here.
Wow.
He's sitting right behind us. So understand when he rapping right at us. And we like, yo, okay, all right. Oh, MC8, okay. 8, the G ain't there, the G ain't in you. Oh, okay. So you gotta understand that you got internal rap beef going on. You got Death Row and Ruthless. They got beef.
Death Row was Death Row against the world back then. Death Row had beef with everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
They was the ops.
You know what I mean? It was like, and it was like, at the same time that night, we got to see that Wu-Tang was also outside in the city. You know, Staten Island wasn't, always accepted like that in New York. It was like, yeah, y'all a part of New York, but y'all crossed the water. You know what I mean? So even they was up in there 100 deep, like, man, holler at us too, the Wu up in here. Because the first night we performed in New York, the first night Outkast performed in New York, Wu-Tang performed in New York. First, we was performing Players Ball. They was around the corner in another venue doing Protect Your Neck the first time in the city. So just imagine after that show, we sell it. We like Outkast first album out. We go down to like the street corner. We went to the bodega. We listen to 69 Boys, so we run up in there and get some boom for them. We all out there. We out there. we all out there.
That boy has a boom.
Yeah, we got bottles out there. We boom for them. We on the corner. We bodega. Yeah. And out of nowhere, Method Man walk up, and we're like, man, where y'all from? We from Atlanta. I'm Method Man. I'm from Wham. And we got a picture that we all took together. It was before Method.
I'm from Charlotte.
And we all felt very much on the same team that night because we understood that it was gonna be a little minute before the city understood who we were. Yeah, and that was on both crews because they came off and they was kind of banned in New York. Flex them had the thing against Wu and RZA, so they was really blackballed in New York too. So that's why you got the antics you got out of Dirty before he left. You know what I mean? That's because they felt like they wasn't getting respected and slighted at the same time. So that's just hip hop.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, sometimes you gotta earn your keep. When 3 Stacks comes on that stage and says the South got something to say, what do you think he meant by that?
This ain't the last time you gonna see us.
Come on.
And it really pissed Dre off. It pissed Dre off, man. Like Dre he don't really get out his feeling like that. You know what I mean? But that night, it really made him come back home. And I remember, just think about it. After that album, that's when you start seeing his changes. Because now I want to be bigger than hip hop. You know what I mean? So
and all this time we thought it was Erykah Badu.
Well, no, Nah, I would nah.
We all thought it was Erykah Badu. Every time Erykah get with somebody, boy, they get it changing. You see Common before Erykah Badu and after Erykah Badu, different Common.
Yeah. Yeah, that's he just wanted to be some, he wanted to be close like Dre. He wanted to be a little something close like that. He thought that might turn on if he could get like that, but that ain't even what she don't even be rocking like that for real. That be on you. And like she ain't really have that much to do with what Dre was doing. That's pretty much Gipp. You know what I mean? Gipp was the first that went into the fabric store and started making my outfits. And he said, Gippy, what you doing, big bro? I said, I'm doing it like this. How I'm going to go on stage and how I'm going to go to Foot Locker, then go on stage. And them folk that I listen to, they say, man, you ain't a star unless the people in the audience ain't got what you got on. That's how I was taught. You got to look, George Clinton sat over in the dungeon with us, and George Clinton ain't never put on no sweatsuit.
Wow.
So you got to look how we were taught. You know what I mean? We were taught that, hey, man, like, you see me coming out that spaceship, you see how that outfit look, you see, hey, man, that's star stuff.
Come on.
That's stage. That's being an entertainer. To him, just going on stage right out of the Foot Locker, he like, man, what the hell is that?
It's normal, right? No, for sure.
Like, he just
in costume.
Yeah, he like,
sure.
man, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? So that's the reason why Dungeon Family has always been so eccentric, because we had OGs really pushing us to do that.
That's hard. Now, it was always said that Pac was the antagonizer of the Biggie and Pac beef or whatever. But I heard recently that you and Pac ran up on Big and Faith after he performed.
Well, you know what it is that it wasn't no tension when they really got in front of each other.
Okay.
It was really the hecklers and everybody around them. Really, you getting to learn that it really wasn't Pac and Big. It was really Puffin and Suge. Y'all got to remember that this was the time of the producers' hour. This was the producers' hour. This was when all the record labels depended on the producers to get the artists together, get the music together, and present them back to the label. And I just think that at that time, you had such. I don't even think the industry was thinking that it was going to be so many stars at one time. You know what I mean? I just don't think the industry was equipped for what happened. I think Suge them doing the astronomical numbers they did at that time, then Puff coming out changing, taking the party scene and then putting music to it. Now we got $100 parties. You know what I mean? I never heard of $100 to get in the party to. It was a Puff party. So you got to look.
I think it's more than that now.
Yeah. So just so much stuff was changing. We were trying to elevate the culture, and that's the reason why. At the same time, even with us, it was about us elevating, coming out of being looked at as Southern rappers and shaky booty rappers. Y'all do club music, shaky booty music, and that was the thing that we were kind of like fighting against. Because I love Splat Pack. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I love all that. I love all that. I'm down in Daytona on the beach, man, with the cars. So the Southern. The strip club culture, I just understood it. But you got to understand that during that time, it was kind of like that was new to the culture. But we knew that it was also a vice, that we knew that once people got involved, and once you understand the strip culture, then you understand Atlanta. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is what it is, but I tell people all the time, we are the last of what the 90s looked like, because we are the only city that can still push a record, break a new star, and the reason why is because of our strip club culture. As long as kids can keep going in the strip club and giving a stripper a song nobody ever heard, and she come on the stage and dance to it, if she get money, that's a hit.
There it is. There it is. She gonna break the record for you. Now play that new Gipp and James Worthy song. Play that right quick. Play it 3 times in a row. They spin it to that one.
As long as she got a little rhythm,
Yeah,
you
right?
Gucci.
Now, question: why do you feel that Pac's All Eyes on Me was better than any other Jay-Z album?
Because you could put a double album on and ain't going to skip one song.
I had it.
Come on, bro.
And that was one of the first double albums too.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bro, when you got all the way down to checkout time, you was like, man, this nigga here crazy, man. This nigga here the raw shout. I'm talking about every beat bumping. Every beat and everybody he had on there, it was just like they were perfect. Everybody. It's like he has no album that ain't Me Against the World was crazy, bro. Like, that's when, bro, we used to be at White Waters in the parking lot with our shirts off listening to that thing, man. Before we even go up in there, man, that thing was crazy, man. And only you had to be here to see it. That's why I'm just like, I look at a lot of people, I only seen it's only been a few instances in hip-hop that had the impact he had. And that's probably Eminem, 50 Cent had that kind of impact. You know what I mean? It's not too many people that had that kind of impact.
No, facts.
You know, so that's all. And that's why I just leave it like, hey, bro, if you wasn't gold or platinum in 95, 96, 97, then I understand. You know what I mean? I understand, but understand that we was already gone.
Come on, man.
For the new them folk y'all talking to me about. So I'm not mad at no man about what he been able to achieve over the time that another man been gone. But I'm saying if you wasn't even in the game then, so you couldn't see it.
Exactly.
So that's the reason why I look at what they may think is the best now is only because they wasn't there in the beginning.
No. Yo, have you got your Engorge yet? All natural male supplement, improving size, boosts libido, and stamina. And no, I'm not paying attention to her because I got that Engorge. So if you really want to handle your business the way you got to handle your business, go to Engorge.com today to get yours. Do that thing again, China Red. Yeah, it's an Engorge thing. Facts. You know, you guys broke the door down, you know, barrier breakers for the South and the Southern Sound. And so I totally understand when you say we don't respect your list, right?
We can't because we weren't.
And we've had it ever since.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it spade a spade.
Yeah. And it's like, how do you, I mean, my whole.
So when they said Jay is on the number one on the list or whatever.
He number one in business.
Okay.
I can give
That's
him
the
that.
only reason.
I can give him number. That's the reason why they put him there. And I understand that. And I respect that. And I can tell you why. Because he is the first to be a top rapper, go from that, be a label owner, go from that, find artists that broke ceilings in this music game, and to be able to marry pop superstar and keep that relationship together in the midst of all of this shit going on. Hey man, you the greatest.
Yeah.
Cause I know what it is to be in a relationship and be in the game and your girl in the game.
It's tough.
So it's a real tough position. So no, like people just took my my first comments as aggression toward him. And it's not aggression toward him. It's just aggression toward whenever I hear that, the emotion of 95, 96 come up. And then I'd be like, oh, no, buddy. Don't nobody put us on the no list. And since I'm here and I'm one of the ones from down here that fought this battle, I don't care what your papers say.
There it is.
You know what I mean? That's all. And then I could say this too. I wouldn't have spoke like that if I didn't have music. If I didn't know what me and James had created at the end of last year, and what we've been working on together for about a year or two now, I only wanted to draw the attention of the industry to show them what artists look like and what real music sound like. Because right now the industry to me is just fabricated. That's why none of these songs are really sticking. That's why none of these artists are really, the audience is really loving them like that. You know why? Because damn near half their album, the label gave them the songs.
Right, bro.
So you know what I mean?
You're right, bro. Rappers is just goddamn actors right now.
Yeah, you know.
James, like, so how did you and Gipp create this this collaboration? How did y'all end up meeting and linking and locking in?
Well, it started from a session that I had with Corrupt one night, and me and Corrupt were working on different records, you know, just catalog of stuff, and one of the songs we were working on was called "Top of the World," which is on Gipp and Worthy now, and we were just finishing up the hook in Corrupt's first verse. And once we did that, he called me to the side and said, "Hey, what do you think about putting Gipp on this record?" Now, I hadn't met Gipp yet. We had never crossed paths yet. But I was always a fan. You know, I was a big Goody Mob fan. So I said, well, Rupp, I would love to see what he sound like on it because I hadn't really heard him rap on a production like that. And even the premise of the song was different. So it intrigued me. So Corrupt called him, and Gipp pulled up 30 minutes later and sat on my couch and wrote his verse right on the spot. So it was all three of us on the record. So after we did that, Corrupt called us a couple of days later saying, "Hey, I'm going back to the West because it's too cold out here." So I'm like, all right.
Boy, like that West, boy. Boy, like that West cold.
He had to go back to the West. So I'm like, damn, well, I mean, you know, what we going to do with this record? So we kind of sat on it for a little while, but in the midst of that, me and Gipp just started working on other records. So we ended up doing another record called Night Drive, me, him, and John Flutis, and then he was on my single called TikTok, which we got nominated for a Grammy for that record.
Sir.
So, you know, we just started working on stuff, and Gipp and Worthy kind of came after that, just in a sense of we just wanted to have a body of work for people to hear, not only from both of us, but just come at the industry different, like the sound, the writing, the message of it, everything. You know what I mean? Because, you know, like he said, you got labels out here just giving people records, and everything is so manufactured. Like me and him were in the studio creating this music. You know, it wasn't no files back and forth, and you know, well, I got to meet you out here and this and that. Like, nah, he pulled up to my studio, and we recorded these records on the spot organically, and I think that's why the project is being so well received, because I think people feeling that energy.
It's organic.
Yes,
you know,
definitely organic.
And you know, real always feel better than fake. You know, fake diamonds shine for a little bit.
For a little bit.
But you know,
after a while, it's gonna get a little rust.
Exactly. with the real ones stand the test of time. You know,
yes, sir.
You said something earlier. We're talking about you were nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
Now every year at the Grammys, or at least this year, there was a lot of uproar about certain individuals winning, and certain individuals getting left off and things. What is your take and your thoughts of the Grammy voting process?
I mean, to be honest with you, the Grammys ain't made for us. The board is nothing but old white folks that don't even listen to music like that. To be honest with you, like, I mean, it's the reason why y'all see whoever wins is like almost a cringe to a lot of people, because you ain't never heard of them. You don't understand why they won.
I'm trying to tell you.
You like, you know what I mean? So it's just like I stopped caring about that a long time ago, because I understood that that is not our circle. That is not what really defines our music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just all it is just an accolade for the industry, but it ain't really an accolade for the people.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
That's a bar.
So
that's a bar right there, sir. That's a
what
bar,
it is.
Sir. Hey, when you right, you right.
That's just what it is. You know what I mean? So like,
industry, not an accolade.
My whole problem with a lot of things is we got to stop talking about saying that we gonna create our own, and we still don't do shit about it.
Amen,
you know what
brother.
I mean? Like,
Amen,
like stop saying that we need to create our own platforms and our own award ceremonies and all that, and we still don't do it. People just get so caught up in trying to be likable and trying to be the most popular and trying to be accepted by the people that really don't give a fuck about you.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
Cause I just remember going on Instagram after this last Grammys, and folks was just hot. Like, how in the world? And da, 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 da. I'm like, well, maybe we should take our ball and go home.
Well, you know, maybe we should just stop caring about that.
There it is.
I mean, music was so much greater when we didn't care about that.
Yeah.
All we want to do is go to Soul Train.
Yep. For real. That was him, boy.
It was two things.
It was
Two things: Soul Train and 106 and Park.
Boy,
Yeah,
I'm
it was
trying
like-
to tell you.
That's it.
It's like when we got to do Soul Train, man. I thought to me and where we from, that was my Grammy. Like that's
You made it.
that's where everybody I saw that I looked up to was on Soul Train Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I felt like, if anything, if an artist, if what you needed to know if you was even considered to be great, you had to grace that stage at Soul Train. And to be able to do it, man, and at that time, it was it just gave us so much confidence that we really didn't care about awards. Like, I really never really cared about awards. It's because we always knew the type of music we were doing, so I always understood it from that fact. Like, hey man, they ain't never give Public Enemy no Grammy. They ain't never give the people that I looked up to at the time no Grammy. So I always knew that it was a difference between Chuck D and Will Smith.
Come on. Ooh. The difference between Chuck D and Will Smith. Gipp, have you ever had anything happen similar than what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, of somebody trying to approach the stage while you was on there and try to assault you?
You know, it's kind of hard when you got, you know, people got to understand, Good and Mar with the cleanup crew. Like,
Sweep him up.
like you have no instances where you heard Outkast been touched ever.
Never.
Why you think? I mean, no, bruh. Like, bruh, BMF seen us do 100. Everything about BMF they seen from us. We was the first one to hit club 100 deep. We was the first dudes in Atlanta that moved with all sides of the city. We got East Side, West Side, South Side, everybody in the Dungeon family. So we were the first ones that had the actual bad boy organized noise weekends. You know, so Meech them used to be at Reek House standing on the fence when they were just 4 deep. They looked at how we kicked it, who we kicked it with. And that's what made it easier for them to move around the city, because they never had a problem with us, and we never had a problem with them. But they understood that we was a force to not be played with.
You know,
They knew we wasn't to be played with in no way.
And you know, history has served that, because I heard that you once, you know, Suge Knight is this notorious figure that you know is etched in hip hop as the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And you've had, you know, several run-ins and interactions with him or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it true that you told Suge Knight, if you slap me, I'ma pop him?
Well, what it was I'm gonna tell you what it was.
Yes,
It was
sir.
a situation where when we first got back to LA and CeeLo started doing The Voice,
Oh, okay.
you know, started getting them phone calls like, let me get involved with your business. You know what I mean? And you know, he a Taurus and I'm a Taurus.
All right.
So, you know,
Shouts out to my brother such and such. He a Taurus too.
I'm with all the business.
Yes, sir.
I'm with it. You know, you want to get out, let's get out. You know what I mean? And my thing is this, man, we loyal, man. We loyal. We ain't going to let nothing happen to nobody that's around us. And, you know, when I got the call, I felt like, okay, you know, we've been in the game 20-something years. Ain't no extorting nobody.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Ain't nobody from Atlanta get us. We don't do that here. It's always been cases in New York, L.A. where people get extorted, you know, either by their gang or either by, you know, they city in New York. But we ain't never allowed that in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So that was why my thing was, we not doing that now. So yeah, we've had run-in, but me and big fella, we just understand each other. He used to laugh at me sometimes. Like we'd be in Miami, he'd be laughing and stuff like, he used to have a little crush on one of my girls and stuff like Tamala Jones at the time. He was like, man, I like your girl, folks. I used to have your girl got that picture up on my wall, you know what I mean? Like, he was just a gangster like that. But see, he just knew that at the end of the day, ain't gonna be too much fighting with me.
Come on.
You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be that.
They know who to play with.
Because if we grown men, and yeah, that kind of behavior is accepted on your side of the map, but on my side, it's like it's gonna be retaliation for anybody trying to take something from us, and that's the reason why I feel like still like Goody Mob, Outkast, we ain't never been approached by that kind of, and there's a lot of artists out here that's been approached and put in them situations. You know what I mean? So, I just was not with nobody approaching us and feeling like they're gonna force us to get into our business at that time. Mm-hmm. That's it.
No, that you just standing your ground.
Yeah, that's it. And man, and me and Big Fella cool. Like, man, that Big Red, man. Big Red. You know what I mean? That shit just don't work on some.
My office hours are from 9 to 5.
You know what I mean? So, it's all good. You know what I mean?
Do you think back then, because you hear these stories, right? Mm-hmm. You hear these stories, and we didn't have social media back then. Everybody didn't have a phone with a camera on it back then. So you kind of had to walk around.
It was more dangerous back then because there wasn't no cameras. You gotta remember, man. Like, we used to be on tour with UGK, 8 Ball MJG,
shouts out.
off in the backwoods in Chattanooga, Mississippi. You gotta remember during them years, we used to show up. It'd be a drug dealer. It'd be a stage set up at a nigga house. Yeah, we'd be performing for the town drug dealer. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they don't understand, that rap itself was really promoted by the drug scene, especially in them early years. You had artists that went to Jack the Rapper, but Jack the Rapper to an artist back then, if you weren't from New York or LA at that time, all the Atlanta acts was really kind of new. And really, that was the first time that I seen that tension could really go there. And it's always been tension between South and the West and South and the North, but it's always been kept kind of off out of newspapers. But bro, like, man, look, bro, like, Luke Skywalker them tore that hotel up downtown, man. The Continental down on the one-way. Boy, that's where the first Jack the Rapper was. And that's when it was Uncle Luke them against the Death Row. And that's when Uncle Luke, man, he rolled around Atlanta to all the projects and got all the projects and brought folks up from Miami. And that's when they was in trouble. They was in trouble. They had to deal with Georgia boys and Florida boys. It wasn't nice out there, man. And see, a lot of that stuff, we ain't really talk about then because everybody was trying to keep their little situations right. You know what I mean? Everybody was trying to, that's when it was all on the producer like Reek, man. LA called Reek, man, what they doing, man? They messing up the money. Like one time, man, we got into it at the warehouse, man. Next thing I know, man, they jumped on Chris Tucker brother.
What?
You know what I mean? Because it was just like, you got to remember that we were from over there in Lakewood, E Point, so us coming downtown was like really going into another city because we ain't mess with downtown. That's when Atlanta dude didn't mess with downtown.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed on their side. East side stayed on the east side, and the south side stayed on Old National.
The Mexican.
Yeah, like, and then nobody do nothing but stay in the hood. So we ain't start going downtown until our era started. You know what I mean? So that's when a lot of the we met a lot of the superstars before us, and a lot of times, we were considered the hood. We were the hood.
Yeah.
We were the little babies. We was everything that you wanted to see from that county road.
So a lot of Suge Knight might have been the boogeyman on the West Coast.
He was never the boogeyman here.
He was never the boogeyman here.
Nah, man. He came here and slapped a couple people one time. I got called. He came here and slapped a couple of people, about some money, but they owed him the money, and he got the money. You know what I mean? Because that was my suggestion. Like, hey, man, you owe big fella the money, pay the money. You know what I mean? He just came in the middle of the week trying to collect. You know,
Middle of the
he caught everybody off guard. They were like, "Hey man, sure, ride around town looking for folk, man." I'm like, "What happened?" Man, folk owe money, man. And then when I found out what it was like, "Oh, okay, y'all gonna pay him the money, so we ain't gotta," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of times, bro. Like they can say whatever they want to, man, but his kind of character was always needed because them other folk just gonna look at you, laugh at you, and rob you, and dare you to touch them. You know what I mean? And you know, I just think that the kind of money that they were generating, if he wasn't like that, the other folk would have just took it. You know what I mean? So, you know, the fastest way to get the respect is put your hands on somebody.
It's a quick way to get something. It don't always go the way you want it to go.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
back then wasn't no cameras, wasn't no camera phones, so you know you heard about
Put them in the trunk.
You heard about the slap next month, like the slap been gone down,
Yeah.
but it's like you don't hear about it till the next source come
Said
out.
he came down to Jermaine Dupri birthday party one time trying to turn
He
up.
tried, yeah, I was there too. I was there too. It was in Los Angeles. He came trying to goddamn push up on Jermaine, and we had to go outside, and it was me, and that was the second night that I had seen Big U out, cause he was with Suge.
Wow.
And I went to Big U coming home party, so that's when I realized the dynamics of L.A. You know what I mean, like. Bloods and Crips do work together, especially when it's about getting some money from somebody.
Turn down the money.
So you know, yeah, man. But it's the culture. It's what you do. It's how you carry yourself. And me, I ain't never had them kind of problems. I go in Bloods, the Crips. I know all of them. You know what I mean? But it's just about the respect of it all. But I just want to say, at this point of where we are in the game right now, we have to take all of that culture out of music because it's killing music. We have to separate the streets from the music, and the OGs have to denounce that behavior, or we killing the future for the youth.
Yeah, it's we lose a lot of people every year. You know, of course now we got a front row seat to all of it with social media and things of that nature. So, you know, and it's just, I mean, take off.
I mean,
you know,
Young Dog.
Come on,
like
you know, the list goes
P&B
on.
Rock.
Yeah,
like just good
That
kids.
was my partner.
Yeah.
Shout out to P&B.
And to see a lot of these people literally just trying to live their life, literally just you know, Dolph was buying cookies. You know, Takeoff probably didn't even want to be at the party. And
Bruh, he looked like
P&B was eating chicken.
yeah,
well, the whole time he looking like, man, can we get over this shit? And it's just so crazy that you know, people don't understand that what comes with death is it'll never be the same. And I say this, that the only reason why I feel like my crew has not been touched by death is because of the music we made. And then I look at everybody who's so successful and got all the money in the world, look how much death around them. It's a big difference.
But you gotta learn how to stay out the way too.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can have all the success in the world, but you out here in the way and getting involved in things that you know don't mean you no good. That energy gonna attract to you.
Yeah, nah, you get what you put out there, man. You know, the universe is real. And if you putting out negativity, you putting out violence, you putting out gang, they gonna gang you back.
Yeah, they gonna
You know what I'm saying?
They gonna gang your ass back.
I recently had an artist, Big Yabo, on my show, and he said the same thing. He was like, the first records I was coming out with was straight gangster. He was like, man, I got tired of goddamn having to strap up after every show. Yeah. He's like, man, I had to switch it up. You know what I mean? It's just like, do you want a room full of killers? Or do you want a room full of people that just really want to hear some good music?
Right.
Hey, folks. Yeah. Hey, cause bro. Hey, 666 Mafia, boy, they were about the kings of that shit back then, bro.
Won't they?
Like, boy, they were the king, boy. They tear the club up, all that. I'm talking about, bro. Like, they would, man. They really was. they made some music that really brought out some of the most gangsters folks of all time.
Oh, for sure. And it was like they was literally like hype men. You you know how fitness instructors be like left, right. They literally tell you shoot, kill, punch. It's like an instruction manual on how to fight.
Kill a motherfucker. Kill a motherfucker. Kill him up. You know? I bet you won't. Hey, man.
I bet you won't. Shoot him, motherfucker. Shoot him, motherfucker. Shoot.
My nigga Paul was saying
Oh,
it was so funny because the other day, Paul, he went on and he said, Gipp, I'm sorry that I brought so much death and destruction to the game. You know, it was just Memphis, baby. I was like, you know what, Paul? It's nothing wrong with what y'all did because y'all were the first to do it and it was pure.
really?
When you the first to do it and it's pure, I can't never knock that. It's everybody that try and copy it and wind up somewhere else. Because look, even though they been who they are, look at what they turned into.
Wow.
Oscar winners. So you can redirect that energy if you're smart enough and if you make it through it.
No,
That's
real.
That's real.
They man, the stories, the gems, man. Now there's a couple other boogeymens that are quote unquote boogeymens that you have ran across, and actually he's from your area, Mr. Worthy, Jimmy Henchman.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Jimmy
not too
Henchman.
long ago. What's up?
What is Jimmy Henchman like? Because he seems like he is just this notorious figure in hip hop.
Jimmy is a product of New York. Jimmy is a product of New York, and Jimmy is a product of another world. You know, very much passionate about people he mess with, and very much passionate about how he get his money. You know what I mean? You know, OG just cut from another cloth. You know what I mean? It's like you have L.A. Reid, then you got Gene Griffin. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's like, you know, the culture that he was raised in is a culture that we celebrated in hip hop. So I look at him as just being one of the people that he invested in this music business. He the one helped Salt and Pepper come back.
Yeah.
And he helped another one of my OGs, Barry Hankerson. He worked for Barry Hankerson, and that's who very much had me and Jimmy together a lot in Noonan, Georgia. So
Noonan. Boy.
yeah, Barry Hankerson had a ranch out in Noonan where he kept his $1 million horses at, them $500,000 Siberian horses. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And like Cat Williams used to stay in his house.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Barry was the person that really was like, man, Jimmy a good dude, man. I know a lot of people don't understand him because they ain't where we from. And Barry Hankerson from New York. So to me, I have always understood the G mentality and the street mentality, and it's just like any other. It's like anything else. Don't play with me, I won't play with you.
Yeah.
But if you play in my circle, know the rules. Know the rules, cause in the morning I could be nice, but once the sun come down, man, I could turn into a shark.
You pick which version you want.
You know what I mean? So it's about what type of business you do with him. You know what I mean? Because there's been some instances where he ain't called me and was like, yo, Gipp, somebody owe me some money. Okay. And I'm going to get it done. You know what I mean? I might have to go and tell my, hey, folks, he ain't the one you want to play with. If you owe him something, give it back. You know what I mean? And I respect him from that part, you know what I mean, from that place. Because he always understood me.
Amen.
You know?
Suge didn't seem like he understood boundaries of people much, because him and Jimmy had a run in as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Who wasn't
because
beefing with Suge Knight?
but I'm telling you, that was the time that everybody was just trying to get their respect.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Everybody was just trying to get their respect for what was given to them in the game, and we always know that at the end of the day, they were still just pawns in the big game. Because still, just look at that time. Look how much music came out, and you still can only name what? Jay Prince, Suge Knight, Puffy, now Jay-Z. Jay-Z wasn't even looked at like that then.
Yeah,
so you got to understand that even him, he's come up into that place, but still, it's still only a few at the end of the day with all this music that's been made for the last 20 years. So you could just understand that even when that happened, it scared the higher-ups like, oh, shit, we didn't know they were going to do this. Because remember now, Master P came and screwed the game, killed the game, and had more money than everybody and wasn't in nobody's system.
Yeah.
So even he became a monster in the eyes of the puppets, the puppeteers. Like, oh, okay, some little dude down out of Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and figured out how to get there, go do him a movie and go to all the mom and pops, whatever record is being bought, whatever. We're going to scan No Limit. You know what I mean? So you got to look at all the games and all the things that P brought to the game, and then at the same time, looking at it, they've always kept his success at a minimum. You know? He was supposed to be bigger than everybody for
sure.
For sure. You know what I mean? But all I want people to do is recognize in this game of hip-hop, it seems like if you're from a certain part of the country, they keep your light dim.
Ooh.
And it don't matter if you sell 200 million records, you still right here. And then somebody up here that might not write, produce, or nothing, he way up here. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you could just see the biasness in all of it. You know what I mean? At this point, so that's the reason why a long time ago I was like, man, I ain't even studying about no awards. I'm just gonna tell you how I feel every time I get on the mic.
And everybody got their, they got their own opinion. You know what I'm saying? Your opinion is your opinion, and you should be able to voice that.
That's all. But when you looking around and you looking like people ain't like, ooh, you can't say that. Hey man.
Shoot.
These new folk can't say that.
No, you got some backing with you. I was there.
Yeah, it's a little different. Like I was
can't
in the
beat
part,
experience.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the reason why I'm kind of like.
Gentlemen, this episode is being brought to you by Shoe Crazy Wine. You see what she's doing with the bottle? Make sure you follow them on Instagram at Shoe Crazy Wine, official sponsor of the Ugly Buddy Podcast, triple distilled. It's black owned. I don't drink Hennessy. I drink Shoe Crazy. I don't drink any of those other plate things. I drink Shoe Crazy. Do that thing with the bottle again. Official sponsor of the Ugly Money Podcast.
You know, we just got off a call of doing a call, and some of the DJs were like, yo, Gipp, keep doing them podcasts, bro. Like, keep talking, bro, because that's how the young folk connect now.
For sure.
You know, and I didn't know, we connected with music, but now the young folk connect with podcasts. So, just by him telling me that, I'm knowing that these young folk getting to know me better, they getting to know James better, and they getting to have a reason why they want to listen to your music.
Exactly. A lot of these generation now, they want to know the story behind the music.
Yeah.
The story behind the music and the story behind the person makes the people motivated to go check out the music.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when the artists don't have a story, you just put the music out there, and minus TikTok, it might not hit because there is no driving force or no narrative to make you say, hey, let me check out that, that Gipp and James Worthy, you know what I mean? And so, platforms like these ones or whatever, they have been effective as far as breaking records. But speaking of opinions, do you believe that Andre 3000 is a better rapper than Jay-Z?
I just believe that Andre 3000 writes from another vein. He don't write from the street vein. He never has. So for me to say this, hey, bro, that man been platinum since he's 18 years old. You had to work up to that.
When you're right, you're right. You can check the stats.
It's like he just been and Outkast is the only group that sold platinum more every time they drop. First one platinum, second one double platinum, 2.5. Next one 3.5. Next one 5. And the last album they dropped did 11 million. So, you know, I mean, you know, if you, and then I get pissed off because you want to always say Andre 3000. Hey, man, Big Boy held it down.
Yes, sir.
Big Boy, you can't say him and not him. Them records are platinum because both them were jamming. And when you look at the first album, hey, man, it was big. Big was snapping. And then when that second album came, Big came with the Me and You. Yo, you just, Big was all on that album. So you got to, you know, I be looking at that shit like, oh, New York like Andre, but they don't like him because he a little bit too, cause he's Savannah, GA. And you don't really, you know, Big keep that shit stomped down south all the time. You know what I mean? y'all don't want to mention him, but he on every goddamn record.
Every damn one of
That's
them.
bias. So if you gonna play bias and act like you don't see, I can play bias and I don't see either.
No, that's them facts, man. You know, unfortunately, like a lot. I think maybe the people from up north might not be able to understand the way Big Boy kicking it because he kicking it all the way down bottom.
Hey,
But don't mean he ain't kicking it.
Hey, folks, he was on Hey Y'all. I mean, he was on The Whole World.
Yeah,
He was on Mick Jackson. I mean,
Roses.
Hey, bro, you can go back
Everything.
and look at them years, bro. Every time they drop, we drop. Who sold the most? It wasn't. We weren't rapping on samples. All our shit was from scratch. Everybody else was using lyrics. Other people, all kind of stuff to make hit records. They had ghostwriters we didn't know about.
Do you feel that Jay-Z stole?
No, I don't feel like Jay did nothing. I feel like that's always been hip hop. But I'm just saying when you look over here in our pot,
You cooking up your gumbo from scratch.
we ain't using no reference tracks. We ain't got no ghostwriters, and we ain't produced and wrote worldwide smashes. So who you talking to?
Come on. Gumbo straight out the pot, baby.
Come on now. Come on.
Gumbo straight out the pot. I'm talking about that. They gonna cut the potatoes up and everything. Put the peas in there, the seasoning.
Come on now. Come on.
That's straight gumbo,
And I think that's the reason why me and James' album is so dope right now because you got Queens, New York, and you got East Point together. Hey, man, both them the underdogs. Queens the underdog in New York, baby.
That's
Come
a
on,
fact.
man.
That's a
It's
fact.
the underdog. So when you put two underdogs together, you don't get nothing but a great play.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Why? And I hate to harp on Hov, but why do you feel that if Biggie and Pac Biggie had never been killed, that Jay-Z would have never married Beyonce and been as big as he was?
I don't think it would have been a married Beyonce because I just think that the opportunity was there. Shit, you the biggest rapper, she the biggest girl, man. I got the baddest chick in the game wearing my chain. You know, like you was that guy. Like I can't get mad at that, man. You that guy, man.
You did it.
You turned Rockefeller into you and Dame and Biggs. Y'all did y'all thing with Rockefeller. You know what I mean? Then when you brought the Dipsets on, that started a whole new trend in New York. And then, shoot, you left and did more stuff. And then you got to give him the stuff he did with R. Kelly. He did so much. You know what I mean? So I never neglect the true artist, and I can't neglect him as being a true artist. He is a great artist. He is a great writer. To be able to say you wrote a song for Dr. Dre and and it's one of his biggest songs, that's an accomplishment. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, nah, man, I give that man everything that you supposed to have because he earned it. Now, when I say who's the best, it's he the best where he from.
Yeah.
And we the best where we
It's
from.
a matter of opinion.
Yeah. And it ain't got and then I'm gonna say it's a matter of opinion and it's a matter of just language dialect.
Come on.
Like
Man, you got the facts to back it, man.
you know what I mean? Like
got the numbers to back it.
We talk different. So I'm telling you that I understand that you feel a certain type of way, but I'm telling you, the true Atlanta dude in those times did not listen to a lot of New York music. When you was over here in College Park, over there on the west side, over there on the east side, Gresham Road, they didn't listen to that, bro. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can want to feel like your music was that big. Anybody can. But all I'm saying was the only rapper that I knew that blew the South away was 50 Cent. That was the only, but because he sounded like us when he talked.
He did.
We in the club, he sounded like us. And his records were way more accepted in the strip club. That's just what it is. The sound of them. They were way more accepted. Girls danced to 50 Cent records.
Yeah.
But they didn't dance to your records like that in the strip club. So
I mean, they were playing Wankster.
You was hot in 112. You was hot in the club where, you know, where New York was over there, you know, a Puffy situation or Alex them parties, because you got enough New Yorkers in town in the party where you could play your records and it's jamming. But when you left out of there and went to Magic City.
Come on.
No. That's why, and I approve the fact that 50 Cent was so hot, because why did BMF go and get 3-4 buses and follow 50 Cent tour? Because he was that hot. Period.
Shouts out to 50, man.
Real talk.
Shouts out to 50, man. Let's go to the West Coast now. Your brother Corrupt. You said that's where y'all had initially met.
Yeah.
He dropped the album or a song called "Calling Out Names," and nobody responded. Not DMX, not 50, not Ja Rule, not Irv Gotti, not Nas, not Foxy Brown, not AZ, or Nelly. You think they were scared to respond?
Yeah, you start that one.
Oh yeah, I'm tied together, baby. I'm tied together. He like, man, where this go to get this stuff from?
You know, we talked about this not long ago too.
Okay.
And he said that he had a conversation with Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre said that his album would have went platinum if he hadn't put that song on his album. So basically Dr. Dre said, let him know that, you were blackballed out of New York for doing that. So where you could have won them over just by your rapping skills, that they do mess with Philly, and that's documented, you really could have been a bigger rapper than Snoop in New York if you had not played that card. Wow. You know what I mean? So those are the type of things that happen that sometimes your OGs have to just remind you of where you fucked up at. You know what I mean? So for him to tell me that, I knew that he was like, damn, you know, if I had thought about it, I could have held that or would have kept that off my album and just did that on the side. You know what I mean? Because it would have probably helped your record sales a lot better and you would have been stronger as a solo artist.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sometimes you got to know which battle to fight.
Yeah. But also, too, like, I mean, you know, people forget Corrupt is one of the best on the mic.
Lyrically,
period. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people weren't trying to see him on that element either. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Corrupt.
He's some pressure now.
Corrupt is that dude.
Yeah, well, shouts out Corrupt, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
Nobody still ain't responding.
No, they're not.
Young Gotti.
Cause he one of the best, man. Like
Yeah.
lyrically, he ain't really. You can't really just act like you could just dog him out. Like he could be he could have the possibility of beating anybody you put him up against on the right day.
Yeah.
Cause that's what he do. You know what I mean? So
let's move down bottom. Let's move down to the south. You know, all this New York business. Gipp, what is your disdain for DJ Khaled, and why do you say that he is nothing without T-Pain?
It's not I have a disdain for DJ Khaled. I think DJ Khaled is one of the most marketing. He is one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, as far as marketing his material and marketing his albums. Yes, he's one of the greatest to do it. You know, I don't have a problem with DJ Khaled. I just have a problem when people say artists. When you say artists, like, it's kind of like, okay, so to me, DJ Khaled will be an extraordinary A&R for a big label.
For sure.
Yeah.
Out of no question. You know what I mean? But when you say artist, but you don't really produce or write the music, then you equating yourself to a Timbaland, a Dallas Austin, a James Worthy, a Jermaine Dupri.
Hey man, you gotta be hitting them boards.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, that's tricking the audience. I'm not, you know what I mean? And that's tricking the audience in a place that I fought for, in a place that I spent the time. Like, yeah, it's all cool when you got the money and you got the backing and you got all that and you got the artists that gonna come in and rap on your shit. But if you take all that away, are you still in the building? Now, see, that's kind of like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, when you say artist, the artist is supposed to be some part or something about him is supposed to show me that he an artist. But it's a difference between being a great A&R and an artist. Like, an artist is never supposed to follow what's going on. A great A&R is always supposed to follow the wave and figure out how to continue the wave. And that's what he's done a great job of. Now, if I had $5 million or something like that to be able to go by the billboard every time 5 new rappers come out, I could do that too. You know what I mean? If everybody had that kind of thing, but guess what? I look at DJ Khaled and I say, yes, he has talent. He has talent of what he does. He's the first of his kind of what he does. But me as an artist, I have to say, man, look at what they do in our culture. Look at what they do in our culture. And if you're going to blackball one of the most talented artists to ever come out of Florida, T-Pain, and now we have Khaled, I'm like, okay, well, why ain't nobody turn T-Pain back on? You see what I'm saying? So
groundbreaking talent.
So I'm never on the side of the building, man. Like, I'm always on the side of the artist. And how artists treat each other, it kind of like everybody can see it now. So, I don't have no problem with DJ Khaled, man. He just did a song with Future and everything. Like, I don't have no personal problem. I'd be having a personal problem with all the games the industry play and all the puppets that they prop up and all the people that they prop up that they running the game through. See, if everybody look at DJ Khaled like he the one that's controlling this Miami scene, then I don't even know what Miami sound like no more. I don't know what Miami sound like no more because you make records for everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that if you're going to turn one thing off, you ain't got to turn the other thing off. You know, don't turn real music off to turn on the machine because that's what you did. So
you got the machine behind him now.
Yeah, that's all. And the machine I know very well.
Yeah.
So I know that a lot of things that happens in this music game these days are created situations. And all I'm saying is that the game has become so political, so so much about marketing and money and businesses outside. Nobody even talk about the music no more.
Come on.
Because I know that ain't nobody really making music. Everybody's taking from a whole bunch of producers and writers that you don't know about, and they putting their name on this shit. And that's why you will have a song with an artist you think you listening to, but you will hear a whole nother voice on the track and be like, who are that? Because they bought somebody else's song and left them on there because they couldn't do their part, so they just kept them on there, and then they just put their part in. Is that a real record? Man, that ain't no real record. That's mixtape material.
That's manufactured.
That's manufactured. Yeah. So that's the reason why I think that anytime that they only let one person do something, you ought to know that it's a game. Before DJ Khaled, it was DJ Drummer.
True.
Yep.
Who did it first? Zago.
So you're an artist, an actor, an activist, whatever you do, come to the Ugly Money Podcast and tell your story. You can be a special invited guest by texting the number right here. Let's lock in your interview. Let's tell the world what you got going on. Over the past 90 days, we've gotten 30 million views on YouTube, 50 million views on social media sites. It's time for the world to know about you. So make sure you text this number so you can come on the Ugly Money Podcast. And you get to meet China too. It's that ugly money. Hey, man. The legend is in the house.
And I want him to know, man, like I ain't got no problem with you, cuz. Like I ain't got no problem with you, shawty. I just gotta point out everything in the game that need to be checked for this shit to be right. And if we gonna be doing that, okay, if I accept what you doing, then I also gotta accept when they put AI artists out here. And now I'm fighting against the computer. Well, guess what? This was the goddamn prototype. Guess what? This the prototype. You ain't got to write it, ain't got to produce it. We'll take this, put this together, buy the billboard. Shit, we got a platinum album.
DJ Khalid is the prototype for AI artists. That's a bar. That's a bar.
I mean, if you really look at it.
Makes sense.
If you really look at it.
I mean, he's basically just putting this together, putting that together, goddamn, and marketing.
See, I would feel better how they describe Khalid. I would feel better if they just refer to him as the executive producer.
Right.
He ain't an artist. He's not a creative like we are. You know what I mean? So we take offense because we really in here making this music.
And when you can look at Puff and say, hey, Puff really went in the studio and really did a 6 million, 8 million selling album. You know, like regardless if he didn't write it, he paid for it, but he got it now, and he got it down. Now, I look at Dr. Dre. He got it now, he got it down. Eazy-E got in there, got it down. But you can't just say your Baby got in there, got down. Whether Wayne around or not, Baby still got songs with the clips. You know what I'm saying? So actively, Baby still know how to do this. Now, if I could look and I'd be like, well, shit, bro, like, all you doing is saying your name and shit, bro, like.
But they calling you an artist.
Come on, bro. But they calling you an artist. Like, no, bro. Like, if don't nobody gonna say nothing, then I say something. That ain't it. And I know it make money and all that. But guess what, man? When they let that ride, then expect the worst after that. Because now they don't need the artist. They done figured out how to put the whole shit together without the artist, and now subcontract everybody from the writers to the demo artists. Now everybody subcontract, and then they'll put an AI artist in your face that ain't even breathing, talking, or walking. But you buying into it because they ain't already ran the game one time on you for 5, 10 years. Shit, we can do it again. Get a new face.
There it is. There it is. Let's move forward, man. It's getting hot over there. It's real, though. Hey, man, who do you think going to win in the verses between Jermaine Dupri and P. Diddy?
Man, you got to answer.
What you think?
Man,
JD versus Diddy, who's winning that versus?
You know, that's such a diverse between both catalogs because, see, with Bad Boy, like their whole MO was remakes, like not even much of sampling. Like they was sampling, but it was more of remake, right?
They flipping records.
Yeah, just flipping records. Right. With So Def, their thing was about, to me, it was about original, but I think they were more radio friendly. Like Bad Boy was more grungy, more hip hop. So to me, it's really all about what you grew up on or what resonated with you the most. So I really can't say who would win above who because it's just too broad of sides. You know what I mean? But I would probably say really look, So Def could give Bad Boy a run for their money.
I just, my thing is, how we just gonna act like Jermaine ain't a beast?
That's what I'm saying.
How we just gonna,
I can't
say that he overlook all these records?
I can't say that he wouldn't.
Yeah, Diddy is who he is. Diddy is definitely who he is. But are we just going? How we just going to act like JD is just going to just tuck his tail and run?
I'm just trying to figure. If you look at just the numbers, like who did he got to go up? What he got to go up against a Bow Wow? Okay, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Or Mariah.
What he got to go up against Mariah Carey?
Jagged.
He got Jagged and Escape. You know what I mean? Like, and you do have Total and 112.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got some comeback.
Yeah.
But in the longevity, where your Janet Jackson record at? You know what I mean? Like, come on now, like, and then I'm like, okay, JD just got a #1 record, Ari Lennox. Okay, that's new, and that's a new artist. Again, how many artists has this man brought to the game and has really become something? Now, I just know Puffy to be Puffy. Bad Boy damn near is Bad Boy. It's him. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't know if you got enough records outside of what you really do. You know what I mean? Like, how many big records can you use against him? And I don't know. You don't have a Bow Wow. The man's still out here doing worldwide concerts. That's Bow Wow. Like. So,
I mean, he could hit him with crisscross. Goddamn.
And then you still have crisscross. Like the first group I seen on what was the name of that show? The Millionaire Show, where they sat down with the old. Oh man.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No, it used to be this show about. It was like this old man that used to. It was all about fabulous, elaborate Las Vegas life.
Oh, it was
you remember
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Understand? He was on that show with Criss Cross when they went on tour with Michael Jackson. So I'm just like, bruh, like, if how do you beat him? Like jump. Everybody.
I mean, a lot of people don't even realize like JD was one of the first people to bring in Ye
For sure.
to the industry.
Wow.
Like Kanye produced for Jermaine Dupri. That was his first placement before he got to Rockefeller.
And we were damn near second because he produced on our third album. That's when Kanye did Goody Mob's record in Jimmy Henchman's studio in New York. That's how I met, and D-Dot hooked that up.
How was Kanye back then? Was he
Kanye was cool.
Was he
just like-
always
was-
Kanye, or was he?
He was
humble
just like
version?
a college kid went to Mara Brown.
Okay.
You remember, like the college kids at Mara Brown, you had a little,
Yeah.
polo with the thing over their thing. You know what I mean? Everybody out on the block. You know, he was just like a cool college kid that was into hip hop,
Yeah.
and he could rap. And he had confidence in his rap.
Yeah,
you
even
know
if
what I mean?
nobody else liked
if
it,
nobody else
Kanye
liked
liked
it,
it.
like he was still him. You know what I mean? So, I got to really have my first real conversation with him. One time, Dane Dash was like, "Gibbie, man, come see me at the crib." I get to the crib, the dude from off MTV, Tom Green, that white dude was there, and Heavy D was there, and Kanye was there, and Stacey Dash. And I remember that was the first time I got to really sit down with him and talk to him. And he was just cool. He was this before he understood exactly who he was, but you could tell that he wanted to be somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kanye definitely was one of his biggest fans for himself when he.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you know, I love the fact that he was so confident and he seemed like he was so self-assured.
Because he was smart.
And he still is.
He was smart.
He still is.
He was book
Like,
smart.
Yeah. Like, I've been on tour with Ye. Like,
Yeah.
I see the man's work ethic. Like, I mean, I ain't really see nobody really top him, to be honest with you. Like, he made me go harder. You know what I mean? Because, see, one thing about him, he's a true creative. Like it's bigger than music. Like, it's
He trying to change everything.
yeah, like he's trying to change everything and build and build and build and build. And, you know, even on the music side, like, I ain't never seen no artist build their own stage show. Like, from top to bottom, from what you see what the actual stage is to what the aesthetics are around the arena and what camera angles you're going to see him at and how he going to come up and present himself before the show start. Like, I ain't never seen no artist do that.
Very particular.
Yeah. So me seeing that and understanding how his brain work and how he create, I ain't seen it.
Shouts out to you. You think
Yeah.
that's why he's like so misunderstood? Is it the genius level of talent that makes him kind of socially awkward at times?
No, it's just that he just realized that he black. I think that he just been hit in the face with the reality is I don't give a damn what you do. You can't change that skin color, man. And I don't care how many friends or how you go, it's still gonna be some folks in that room that don't fuck with you. And I think that he just had it in his mind that I'm gonna be the rap Michael Jackson. But even Mike was rejected once he rejected goddamn the puppeteer.
Yeah. Yeah.
They turned the greatest artist into a world where he just a child molester and this, that, and the other. As soon as you go against what these people say, then you know.
As soon as you go against the machine, they gonna do everything they can to tear you down.
That's scary, man.
Yeah, it is scary.
No cap, man. That's scary as hell.
That's the other part that makes certain artists walk away. You know, like, cause it's like, you know, some people be like, yo, man, where these folk at? Where these folk at? Gipp, man, where these folk from? Everybody wasn't built for this shit, bro. Even though they probably was with us in the beginning and they got a good start, a good budget for a first album, but when they got out here, it was almost like, wow, like the politics of this shit. Certain people ain't people. You know what I mean? Like certain people, they rap because they want to, they do this because they want to, but once it turned into business, get up in the morning, we're going to have to go see these folk, go through the goddamn record pool, and then hit the 8 o'clock show. Them folk like, man, look, I go back to the block, smoke reefer, man. I ain't you know what I mean? So the south side and the west side, some of them that were with us, they just ain't cut out for the politics of the business. They might be great artists. There's a lot of great artists out here that will straight tell you, man, I do music for fun, man. I can't deal with the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You once said that the music industry will make an intelligent man bitter and an ignorant man rich.
Look around. Look around at all the stars today. Look at what they look like. Look at how they present themselves. Look how much money these folk give them. Now, when we was out here trying to represent hip-hop at its highest levels from what Puff was doing in Bad Boy, I'm trying to go into fashion, be a fashion line. D-Boy down here trying to goddamn uplift people, bring people to. It was almost like, So you gotta understand that once you have created certain type of records, and now you see that people and change this shit, it's like this streaming shit turned into crack. It's like the new crack game, and the reason why it's the new crack game is because we ain't gonna really understand this shit for 10 years down the line, and they ain't already made $400-500 million off of us. It's like, don't you realize that every time you had the big boom of the 90s, the emergence of the West Coast, the emergence of New York, the emergence of the South, and then all of a sudden it was like, they were like, hold on, folks, too many niggas getting rich, bro. Hold on, man, too much power out here, man. If 20, 25 more of them get on, then they don't need us no more. So when you do hear stories of, yo, it was a meeting, and they were going to all get together, and then all of a sudden everybody started getting hit by the feds. It just tells you what it is, bro. Like the music game is long sharking, which turns it into gangster. Because whoever pays for the studio owns the material.
That's who on the record.
But most artists don't know that till it's too late. And that's when the gangster shit starts.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to
That's
that.
real.
Hey, you said Lil Baby. You think Lil Baby gonna get 100 M's? He gonna.
He probably already touching it.
Yeah, I think he probably there.
So?
He probably already touching shit. Yeah. Future already touching. It's just so many ways for these guys to get money so fast. And then on this, see, the greatest thing about this thing that we looking at right now, you can make so much money, but at the same time, you can make money faster, but your career burn out faster. Mm-hmm. So when it used to be a time that you had to keep growing and growing and growing to get into these levels and audience, now if your record reaches a certain place, they just go ahead and throw it up on the ceiling. Now everybody in the world can consume you like a product. Now once they finish with you, it's no time for growth. We're done. Mm-hmm. So that's where I feel like where we had, a couple of albums to really get it right, they only got a year and a half to get it right. And if you don't understand the business, oh shit, they raped you and it's over with. And then the other part is that signing a 360 deal. See, this is why it's such a separation between older artists and younger artists, is because the actual industry don't want us talking, because they don't want us to put in the ear of the younger guy, don't sell yourself like that. Don't sell your voice like that. Don't sell your likeness like that. If you sell it, understand that you become commercial property. If you don't pay that loan back, that means that they own your face and your voice for the rest of your life. Now, if that's a contract you want to sign, that's cool. But me as an OG, I'm supposed to say that. But we have a lot of OGs out here they playing on their side.
They still playing the game.
They playing on their side. So they showing up in town. Hey, man, who you with? Oh, you with them? I can offer you something better. Shit, come mess with me. I'm going to give you $3-4 million, move you out of state. Man, these folk can't even touch you. And I'm put the best lawyers around you. But look at that. That's almost like cattle, ain't it? That's almost like an auction block, ain't it? I'm just going to come to your town, find out who the best man is, pay him more money than anybody around here got, and now I own him.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like slavery.
Hey, man. And then they'll call me, and then the same people that I just bought, they'll call me king forever.
Hey, man, we ain't going to take them too far. We went over a lot of y'all heads. We just went over a lot of y'all heads, man. I got
get it later.
I got one more question before we get up out of here, man, because I know y'all busy pushing this project, man. Gipp, what do you think hip-hop would look like had Pac not passed?
I don't know, because I think his death created so many more. What his plan was to be like. His plan was to be the blueprint. Like anybody who knew him back then, Daz, Corrupt, Quick, anybody who knew him back then just knew he lived like he knew he was gonna get assassinated. He lived like he was Malcolm X. He lived like he was King, because he felt like he understood who he was talking to. Everybody else didn't. That's what made him such a threat. So that's the difference, is that Pac was willing to give his life for hip hop, because he wouldn't turn down. You know what I mean?
Say he won't turn down, man.
He wouldn't turn down, man. And, real martyrs and people who've been built like that, they know what their purpose is. That's the greatest thing about anything, is just to understand your purpose in life. And I think his death pushed the industry forward.
Yeah.
Big's death pushed the industry forward. Big was the first example that a big man could be sexy and a big man could be fly. And sell some records. And he did that. And if you look at it, Pac and Big is the example of what the industry's been chasing since they've been gone. So, you know what I mean? So what Khalid don't got, they still know he can sell. Big man sell, man. The right equipment, the right look, big man he got fans.
Hey man, James Worthy gonna take me back in the studio, man. We're gonna work on something. Hey man.
Hey look. we can make it happen.
Hey, I'm gonna get on the track. I'm gonna rap. I'm a rap.
We can make it happen.
Hey, man, before we get out of here, man, let us know what you got coming up. Let them know where to follow you at and, where to get this project and all that.
Yeah, man. Gipp and Worthy, out, available everywhere. All your streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, Tidal, whatever you got, it's available. 5-song EP, guest appearance by 112 on there. Let us know what your favorite record is. You can find me all social media, King James Worthy. Yeah, man. Keep following us. We got TV shows, movies coming out this year. We going on tour, etc. Man, holla at us.
Hey, they call me Gipp, man. You find me at Gipp Good everywhere. For everybody listening, man, I hope you enjoyed yourself. And
man, classic.
I really never, ever mean to hurt nobody's feelings. I only mean to just open people's eyes to other ways of thinking.
And there it is, brother. I appreciate both of y'all, man. Listen, you can follow me at Ugly Money Nietzsche. That's Ugly Money Niche. This episode is being brought to you by Engorge Rejuvenation Tea, promoting erections, stamina, size, libido. Go to engorge.com. That's EN-GORG to get yours today. All natural male supplement owned by a black man. All right, man. Remember, the bigger the dream, the bigger the risk, the bigger the payoff. This has been the Ugly Money Podcast with James Worthy and Big Gipp.
Yay.